guys, how's it going? Today I wanted to share with you some beautiful plants that were really a very good find at Home Depot. I was able to get all of these that you see on this floor for $20. Everything was marked down to $1 each. And honestly, they were in the store, they looked pretty sad, they were dry, they looked like they were almost dead, and I think they were just marking them down to the lowest possible number so people could just either take them or they could just get them off their shelves. So that's exactly what I did. But for me, I saw potential in them, I saw life in them, and I was so happy to bring them back home and plant them in my garden and give them a new life here. And really happy because for many reasons, I mean, the price is phenomenal. Like, I wouldn't have been able to buy 13 trays of Stonecrop Sedum all at once. I would have bought one or two and that's it, right? So I think it's a great opportunity for me to buy a bunch of multiples of the same plant and be able to add them to my garden. So I was particularly excited actually at first when I saw these sedums. They looked pretty sad and dry and looked like they were dying, but I could also see lots of new green leaves emerging, and they were reviving and coming back. So I think the root systems are really good. They just need a little bit of TLC. They need to go in the ground, and I think they will be perfectly fine. So I will share with you the varieties I got. I got 13 of these beautiful Stonecrop Sedum. They are mixed trays of different varieties of Sedum. It doesn't tell me what variety it is, but it is a mixed variety of Sedum. And I will read to you what the tag says. It is basically a Stonecrop Orpin, and as you can see from the picture, it's a mixture of different varieties of sedum. So it's got some reds and some chartreuse and some other types of darker greens and blues. So lovely sedum. And if you haven't grown sedum in your garden, I would highly recommend it. I mean, they are the most non-fussy plants I have seen. They are very cold hardy, as this one is hardy up to -29. They are very easy to take care of. They are pretty drought tolerant. Once they're established, they don't need a lot from you, and they keep very easy to propagate and spread, and a lot of them bloom. So although we don't really grow them for their blooms, but that's a really nice bonus. They will bloom from late spring to most part of summer, and different timing for different ones, and they are just absolutely beautiful. And they come in these trays, as you can see. They are in these flats and these trays, and they are just beautiful, different mixed varieties. Some of them are doing better than others in these trays, but I'm pretty confident that once I have them in the ground, they will be just fine and come back nicely next year. So I have 13 of these, and they do the best in full sun, but I think you could also plant them in full part shade, but they prefer full sun. And I will find areas of my garden where I can just put these, and many benefits to these. They are excellent ground covers. They form a thick mat and really stop the weeds from taking a hold, and I think that's really exciting for me to be able to find so many different ones that I can just place and really spread out and in my garden. I will pick probably one or two spots where I want to concentrate them so that I can have a nice presence in the garden, and as they grow I can easily propagate them to other parts of my garden. So that's the plan. And the other plant that I got, which was also looking like it would be coming back, it has lots of hope and green leaves, and I'm sure it has healthy roots. It just needs a little bit of help. I have to trim out these dead pieces, but this is a tick seed, Coreopsis Sunkiss. It is the Grandiflora Coreopsis, and it has these beautiful bright yellow blooms with this dark center, and the size of these flowers is pretty significant. They're about 3 inches, and one of the bigger Coreopsis, which is exciting, and they will get about 3 feet tall, and they're hardy up to minus 34, and they will bloom in late spring through early summer. So quite long blooming, and quite adaptable plant in the garden, different variety of soil, and it also needs full sun to do its best. And the other plant that I was able to get was this beautiful ground cover Veronica. It's called Snowmass, and this one is has white blooms, and it's going to be okay in sun or part shade, and blooming, and the zones are 5 through 9. So quite exciting to add this one. I've never encountered this plant before, so I picked up 2 of these. They're quite dry, but I think once they are cleaned out and planted in the ground, they'll be just fine. So I have 2 of those, and in addition to all of these perennials, I also picked up some perennial shrubs. So I have a couple of different varieties of Weigela. Weigelas are very easy shrubs, adaptable. They attract hummingbirds. They all get these beautiful pink, reds, and some whites in blooms, and they have these tubular blooms that hummingbirds actually really love, and they also attract lots of butterflies. So really good plant, and really nice late spring flowering shrub into summer, and some of them also rebloom. So this one here already has some more blooms, so it tells me that it's going to be a reblooming kinds in the fall. So this is the Victoria Vigila, and this one will get about 5 to 6 feet tall and wide, and it's also going to have these beautiful burgundy leaves with dark pink blooms, and here is an example of the bloom, and it's really pretty, and it is hardy up to zones 4, I believe, and it is negative 34 degrees Celsius, and it likes well-drained soil. And I found these 2 really healthy $1 plants, and I can't go wrong with them. So I'm really excited to plant them in my garden somewhere. And then the other Weigela I got was a Weigela Minuet. So this one is a shorter variety. It only gets 2 to 3 feet tall and wide, and it also has similar colored blooms, and I think this is also a pretty healthy plant, and it has darker leaves. It has slightly different leaves, and I think it also has a bit of a burgundy tinge, but because all of these leaves are regenerating because the plant was pretty dead, I think it's hard to tell for me what it's actually going to look like. But lots of new growth, lots of hope in this plant, and I'm excited to add this one as well in my garden. And the last 2 shrubs in the back there are Ninebarks. They are the Diabolo Ninebark. So this Ninebark has a very beautiful dark foliage. As you can see, it has a nice, burgundy type dark foliage, dark green to burgundy foliage, and Ninebarks are fabulous shrubs. I have lots of them in my garden, and here I am with 2 more that I can add to my garden. And this one in particular, it'll get quite tall. It'll get about 6 to 8 feet tall and wide, and it has 4 seasons of interest. It's going to get its beautiful blooms in the spring, so it gets white blooms with pink tinge to them, and then those blooms convert into these beautiful red berries that look phenomenal against these dark leaves. And then in the winter, when it loses all its leaves, it has this beautiful exfoliating bark, as you can see here, and that adds a really nice winter interest, and hence the name Ninebark. So really excited to add these 2 Diabolos in my garden and add it to my plant stash. And in addition, I also have a couple of Bluebeard shrubs that I also picked up, not $1, but quite reduced as well, from my local garden center. And this one here is a beautiful Bluebeard called Saphhire Surf, and this one is, again, if you haven't grown Bluebeard, I would highly recommend them. I had 1 of these shrubs, and this year alone I'm added 3 more of these. They are beautiful. They have these beautiful blue This one in particular has a sage green, like a silvery green leaf, and very pretty leaf structure even when it's not blooming. And they bloom later in the season, so they bloom in mid-summer to late summer, and they continue on into fall, and they have the most beautiful deep blue flowers, and they look really beautiful and really nice food for the pollinators, especially when a lot of the salvias are done blooming. This is a beautiful blue blooms to add to your garden in late summer. And the other variety I have here is Beekeeper. This one is called Beekeeper Bluebeard. So this one is also and both of these grow 2 to 3 feet tall and wide, so they are a nice small shrub to tuck in into your borders, and they like 4 to 6 hours of sun, this one. And this one has a little bit more of a limey green leaf, so it has a nice contrast with these blue blooms. And again, this one will also be creates a mounding shape with bright blue flowers from summer through fall. And I think both of these are hardy to zones 5, and these are excellent flowering shrubs for later on in the season. So really nice to have with your echinaceas, with some other summer phloxes, and even Russian sage. I think they would do really well and flower along the same lines. And if you want to have 2 things that flower at different times, you could pair it with the Weigela, which flowers before them. So I think these are going to be fabulous additions into my garden, and I am here with my fall plant stash. I didn't have to spend a lot of money on these plants, and I'm really excited actually to rescue them, add them to my garden, and to kind of give them a space in my garden and see them come back next year and see how they perform in my garden. So with that, I wanted to thank you all for watching this video and coming along with me as I share with you what my fall plant stash and plant haul looks like. And I will share with you in another video where I'm planting them and what I'm doing with them. So with that, thank you again for watching. I hope you guys have a fabulous day wherever you're joining me from, and I will catch you in my next video.